Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel, Lovely Moments Creating. If you are new here, welcome. Come on in and join the family. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and remember the notification bell so you can be reminded every time I upload a video. My name is Jenny, and on this channel, I create lovely DIYs using mostly items that I find at the Dollar Tree. I try to keep my DIYs budget friendly but easy to do. I hope everyone is well, and I hope everyone is staying safe. In today's video, I am sharing with you some more of my Christmas DIYs. So if you want to see how I created these, then keep watching. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. I appreciate your support. I'm going to get right into this first DIY. I have two holiday picks here, two floral bunches here from the Dollar Tree. All of these items came from the Dollar Tree. My jute cord. I have some decorative ribbon here I'll be using. I will be using also some of these little tower block pieces. I have some candles here. I'm going to use one of these out of this pack, and I'll be using 3 of these small little tea candles here. I'll be using 3 out of this pack. I also have one of the little glass candle holders out of that 3 pack from the Dollar Tree, and I have some wood pieces. I have 4 pieces. This is the bigger block, and these little inserts come inside of that one, but I'll be using 1 big block and 3 of the inserts. And my paint color choices will be some of this plaster color chalk paint, and I'll be using some of that Java chalk paint. The first thing I'm going to do is assemble my wood pieces together, and I'm just gluing these 2 wood square boxes together with the openings facing each other. And then for the other 2, I'm just going to add some glue to the rim of this one, and I am going to glue this one right on top of the larger box, and I'm just going to glue that down. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these little tower pieces around the top of this box just like this, and then I'm going to take 2 to close off the ends. And so I'm just going to take these all off so I can add my glue, and I'm going to glue them all around the box. And I'm going to continue to add all of these little tower blocks together all around the top. And so now that I have finished that, I'm going in with that plaster color chalk paint, and I'm going to paint both of these using that color. And after I get both of these painted with that plaster color, I'm going to go in with my favorite color chalk paint, which is the Java color, and I'm going to distress both of these using that. I originally was going to use the antique wax chalk paint, but I always forget about my Java chalk paint, and I really do love this color. So I'm just distressing both of these pieces. I'm making sure that I distress the edges. I want to make sure that those are covered with this color. I want to make sure I go around these little corners of these little boxes. And after I finish distressing these, I'm now going to go in and add my ribbon. And I'm just going to add my ribbon right around and adding glue to the edges, to the corners, because I don't want to add any glue down the sides because it may seep through. So I'm just adding glue right to the edge, and then I'm going to tack down the ribbon, and then I'm going to just add glue to each edge. And after I get this tacked down, I'm going to add the ribbon to my second candle holder. And what I'm going to do is just make sure I add the ribbon to cover that hole. So I'm just going to add a little glue to the edge, and then I'm going to wrap it around, attaching it to the corners as well, using the glue right on the corners so won't anything peek through. And after I get my ribbon tacked down, I'm now going to go in and add my decor. So first I'm going to add this jute cord, and I'm going right down the center of the ribbon, and I'm just going to wrap the jute cord around a few times. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other candle holder, just adding the jute cord and then wrapping it around the center of this ribbon as well. And I'm going to cut off the excess jute cord, and I'm going to glue that down. And then after I cut that off, I'm now going to take both of these and I'm going to attach my floral pieces. Now I did clip everything off the bunch, and I'm just pulling these off because they pull straight off. And I am just going to glue these down right in the center of the ribbon and the jute cord. I just have to figure out how I'm going to assemble them. So I'm just using hot glue, and I'm just going to rearrange these pieces around until I get everything where I want them. And so this is where you can kind of just add them any way you like. I really like berries, so I know I wanted to put those on here, and I just got to figure out how I want my greenery. I'm not sure if I want these pieces both on that side. I may pull this off and switch it over and add it to the other side. I'm just trying to figure out what I like the best. But I think I'm going to switch it over. Yeah. And so what I'm going to do is now add the floral pieces and picks to this other candle holder. And so I'm just going to add my hot glue and attach everything to the center. I really like how these are turning out. They are really pretty, giving me like farmhouse feels to them. And so I'm just trying to get everything clipped off and arranged where I like them. And so now I'm just going to add my candle holder to the top of this one using some hot glue, and I'm just going to press that down. And then what I'm going to do is take the other little floral pieces, and I'm going to glue these down around the base of that candle holder. And after I finish adding this greenery around the base of this candle holder, for my second candle holder, all I have to do is add my tea candles to the top of it where I created the barrier. And so once I get this complete, that's how they're turning out. And I'm going to add my bigger candle to this candle holder, and then I'm going to drop these 3 little tea candles into that one, and this DIY is complete. And I really do like how these turned out. They are so pretty. And I'm going to get started on the second DIY for today. I'll be using this season greeting Christmas sign for this DIY. I'm going to remove this tree because I'm going to use that for my third DIY. I have 2 of these Christmas florals here, and then I have another bunch of these Christmas berries. I really love these. I also will be using some of this red burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I have some more of that jute cord that I'll be using. I have some more of that ribbon, and I'll be using some of my duct tape that I purchased from Walmart. And my paint color choices will be some more of that Java color chalk paint, as well as that plaster color. So what I'm doing now is just removing all attachments, and I am going to use that tree later. And what I'm doing is I am just going to take my Dollar Tree knife, and I'm just going to keep going over this because I want to cut this piece off. This is the wheel, but I won't need it. And so I'm just going to continue to go over it until it breaks off. And now what I'm going to do is just sand everything down. And I am going to sand down some of that glitter on the other side. I will be covering that up with the tape, but sometimes I like to take some of the glitter off to make sure that the tape holds, because it'd be so much glitter. And so I'm just going to go over the whole back of this using that Walmart duct tape. I love that tape because it looks like burlap ribbon. And then I'm going to add that plaster color and paint over this side of the DIY. And after I finish with that plaster color, I'm going to lightly distress up and down using that Java color. And I'm not going to do so much. I just want to add a little hint of distress. And then after I finish distressing that, I'm going to flip this sign over, and I'm just clipping all of my pieces off of the stems, because what I'm going to do is I am going to glue these pieces down to the top of this sign. And I'm going to go in with all of the greenery pieces first, and I'm just going to add my hot glue, and then I'm going to glue all of them down. And then after I get all of my greenery pieces glued down, I'm going to go in and blend in my berry picks. I always tend to create this DIY for all seasons. It's the pictured flower pot, and I just love it. And so I was excited to create one for the holiday. I actually got a few of these for the holiday. And so now what I'm going to do is go in and add in my berry picks. And I'm just going to add those in between the greeneries. And once I get all my berry picks in there, I am going to cover these up using that tape. And now that I thought about it, I probably could have not added tape to the top of this until I added these picks, so I wouldn't have to use any extra tape. But it's okay. I'm going to add the last one, and then I'm just going to go right on top of it with some more tape just for extra security. And I'm just making sure that everything is tight and secure. And what I'm going to do now is flip my pot over, and I'm going to start decorating the front of it. The first thing I'm going to do is add that red burlap ribbon around, and I'm just going to flip it over and glue the back pieces down so that everything can stay. And then now what I'm going to do is take that jute cord, and I'm going to wrap that around the center of that burlap ribbon, and I'm just going to go around it a few times. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess jute cord. And now I'm going to get ready and to create a bow. And this is where the struggle begins. I am not a bow creator, so please, if you know how to create a bow, just create your bow and add it to this DIY if you're inspired by it. I am the worst when it comes to creating bows. I'm just doing the best I can. I did say that I am going to take the time and just create some bows because I see people doing some really amazing jobs, but I just do what I can when it comes to these bows to get by. So what I'm doing is, as you can see, just trying to fold, bend, wrap, cut, do whatever I can to create a bow. So I'm sure you all have better ideas than this one, so please excuse me. This is the best I can do. I wanted to put a bow right in the center, and I didn't have one that was already made, and I wanted it to actually be with this ribbon, and so that's why I decided to just create my own bow. If I can find something later to go with this, I will remove this one and add that one, but for now this will work. So here we go. And I also apologize. I know I may sound a little stuffy. I did have to go to the doctor. Even though this is my favorite season, my sinuses do not agree. And so my sinuses have been bothering me for a couple of days now. But they are getting better because I am taking something. So sorry about that. I did add a little jute cord to the back so I can hang this sign, and this is how it turned out. I think it came out really cute, and so what I'm going to do is move on to the next and final DIY for today. And what I'll be using is some of these little small wooden cubes from the Dollar Tree. And here's the little tree that I removed from that previous sign. I'll be using that. I was originally going to use them little berry picks, but I found something else. I have some of the Hobby Lobby scrap paper, and those are for $1. I'll be using one of these little round wood pieces. And I do have this little wood triangle piece. I did pull the back off, but I'll be using both pieces. And I have some more jute cord, and I'll be using one of these little stencils here that I pick up from Hobby Lobby for $1.50. And I have some of the red paint, and I'll be using some more of the Java color chalk paint. And the first thing I'm going to do is trace out the scrap paper to fit my triangle piece. And then I'm just going to cut out the piece that I traced. And I am going to take my Mod Podge, and I am going to add some of that to the scrapbook paper as well as the triangle wood backing. I like to put my glue on both because I would like to make sure that everything is smoothed down, and sometimes if I don't, I miss a spot where glue should be. So I like to add glue to both of them, and I'm just going to brush it right over, and then I'm just going to have to make sure that I line it up pretty good, and then I'm going to press everything down once I get it lined up. And then after I get everything lined up, I'm going to take my sandpaper, and I am going to go around the edges. Now when I go around my edges, I go down. I try to go away from pulling the paper up, and when I go down, it makes it even smoother. So I'm brushing downwards away from pulling the paper up, and I'm just going to go around to make sure all of the edges are smooth. And now that I have all that smooth, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my little cubes to all three of my trees, and I'm just going to add one to the back first so that I can have something to add the other two to. And so I'm just going to add some glue, and I'm going to add the other two right up against each other. And for the smaller tree, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add one to the back of the little tree, and I'm just adding one all the way down so that they can stand up on its own. And then as for this one, I'm actually going to glue down one of these cubes in the middle, and I'm going to add two more because I want this one to stand up just a little taller. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take that Java color chalk paint, and I'm going to paint all of my tree trunks using that color as well as this round wood piece. And I am going to paint the triangle wood piece all around that with this Java color as well. As for this little tree, I am going to go over this with my red acrylic paint, and I will be using 2 coats of that just to make sure that everything is covered up. And now for this tree, I am going to take my Merry Christmas stencil and I'm going to place it right on top, and I'm going to take that red paint. I use this my round sponge when I use stencils, and I just go up and down, because this way it don't bleed through. And so I'm just going to keep patting right on top, not adding a whole lot of paint, and that way when I pull it up, nothing's bleeding. And so once I finish that, I'm just going to pour that up. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my jute cord, and I'm not doing it in any kind of straight line or fancy way. I'm just going to take this jute cord and I'm going to wrap it around this tree. And once I get that finished, I was going to use these, but I decided to use this little wreath off of this little Dollar Tree ornament because I decided to give it a little greenery, and it did have a little buffalo check ribbon on there, but I did take that off. And I'm just going to glue this right to the top of my tree that has the Merry Christmas on it. And now I have all of my 3 trees ready to be able to be added to the little round wood piece. And I'm just going to take my bigger tree and I'm going to glue that right down in the back. I am gluing that directly over the hole that was on the wood piece. And then I'm going to glue this one right in front all the way to the side. And I'm going to take my little red tree and I'm going to glue that all the way to the other side, making sure not to cover my Merry Christmas tree. And then this DIY will be complete. And I really do like how these DIYs turned out today. They all are so pretty. Even though I do not get the award for the best bow maker, I do like how this turned out. They are all so pretty. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. And if you enjoyed these DIYs, please remember to give my video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel because I would love to have you here. And in the comment box down below, let me know which one of these DIYs were your favorite. And remember to stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.